Video tutorial looks at the mathematical strand of money and financial mathematics, and more specifically, we're going to focus on our understanding of compound interest. Interest is interest that's calculated as a percentage of a total amount at the end of a previous compounding period. Now, what does that actually mean, and how does that differ from simple interest? Well, simple interest is simply just finding out an interest on an amount, and that is it. Whereas compound interest, when you find an interest on an amount, you actually add that interest to that amount, and that becomes the new compounding amount. And then you'd find the interest on that and add it and find the interest on that. And as you can see, the original amount actually continues and keeps growing and growing and growing. Whereas simple interest, the original amount stays the exact same. Now, when we're trying to find out the compound interest formula, okay, it's actually written here, where f is our future value. So that's what we're going to end up with. P is the amount of money we have at the moment. That's our present value. Similar to simple interest, there's a little I, which is our interest rate in per annum, so annual interest rate, and N is the number of years of the investment. Now remember that N always has to be in years, not in months. One side note here, if you were trying to find just the actual interest amount rather than the actual compounded amount, you'd simply take away your p value from your f value, and we'll go through that in a minute and what that means. Question here. First question states, what will $5,000 invested at 8% per annum compounded amount to after 2 years? So we're looking at our formula here. We've got f, which is our final value, equals our present value multiplied by 1 plus I all to the power of n. Now we don't know what our final value is because that's what we're trying to figure out, but we do know our p-value, and our p-value is actually $5,000. 1 plus, we know what our I value is because it's 8%, but remember, we've got to turn our percentage into a decimal, so this becomes 0.08, and we know what our n value is because it's 2 years. Now if we put that into our calculator, we're going to work out that our final value is going to be $5,832. Now, the second part of this question says how much interest would be earned in the above question. Now remember that our interest is actually our final value minus the value we started with. So this becomes 5,832 minus $5,000, which is obviously going to give us an interest of $832. You're now going to have a go at some practice questions. They're going to come up in a minute in this video, and please feel free to pause them. When you think you've got them correct, continue the video and we'll see how you went. So as stated, here are the practice questions. Please feel free to pause the video. Once you think you've got the answers, we'll move along and we'll see how you went. So in our first question, it says, what will an investment of $3,500 at 15% compound interest per annum amount to after 7 years? Well, our formula is F equals P bracket 1 plus I all to the power of n. We can put in our amounts that we know. So we know our P is 3,500. We know that our I is going to be 15%, which is actually 0.15. Remember to change it to a decimal. And we know that we've got it for 7 years. Okay, this is going to give us a total amount of $9,310. Now the last question says, how much of this total above will be interest only? Well, we know that our interest is actually our f value minus our p value. In this particular case, it's 9,310 minus our 3,500, which would give us a total of $5,810.